Good evening, all of you. Today we will discuss chapter number 3 of class 11th, the basis of human behavior. Now, in this chapter, we will study about the various biological as well as the cultural roots of human behavior. We all know that human beings are social beings, but it cannot be denied that we are also functioning, our behavior is also affected by our biological compositions. All right, it can definitely not deny that our hormones, our whatever structures, our biological structures, our genes are equally affecting us as much as the socio-cultural environment is affecting, is equally important in the way we are behaving in our world. Okay, so in this chapter, in this portion, in today's video, we will discuss about how the biological basis of behavior is seen in the individual's day-to-day activities. Okay, we will start from the basic unit of our nervous system. All right, the biological basis of our behavior is the nervous system. Okay, the basic unit of the nervous system is known as the neuron. Okay, and neurons communicate with each other with the help of synaptic processes. Here is a video which will explain to you how synapses take place. See,
Welcome to 2 Minute Neuroscience, where I simplistically explain neuroscience topics in 2 minutes or less. In this installment, I will discuss synaptic transmission. Most communication between neurons occurs at a specialized structure called a synapse. The synapse is an area where two neurons come close enough to one another that they are able to pass chemical signals from one cell to another. The neurons are not actually connected, but are separated by a microscopically small space called the synaptic cleft. The cleft is less than 40 nanometers wide. By comparison, a human hair is about 75,000 nanometers wide. The neuron where the signal is initiated is called the presynaptic neuron, while the neuron that receives the signal is called the postsynaptic neuron. In the presynaptic neuron, there are chemical signals called neurotransmitters that are packaged into small sacs called vesicles. Each vesicle can contain thousands of neurotransmitter molecules. When the presynaptic neuron is excited by an electrical signal called an action potential, this causes the vesicles to fuse with the presynaptic membrane and release their contents into the synaptic cleft. Once they are in the synaptic cleft, neurotransmitters interact with receptors on the postsynaptic membrane. They bind to these receptors and can cause an action to occur in the postsynaptic cell as a result. This action may involve increasing the likelihood that the postsynaptic cell will become activated and fire an action potential, or decreasing it. Eventually, the neurotransmitter molecules must be cleared from the synaptic cleft. Some of them will simply drift away in a process called diffusion. In some cases, the neurotransmitter is taken back up into the presynaptic neuron in a process called reuptake. Once back inside the presynaptic neuron, the neurotransmitter can be recycled and reused. In other cases, enzymes break down the neurotransmitter within the synaptic cleft. Then the component parts of the neurotransmitter can be sent back into the presynaptic neuron to make more neurotransmitter.
now with that video, it must be clear to you how neurons communicate with each other, okay, and how synapses are formed. Now we will discuss about the nervous system. You can clearly see this schematic representation of our nervous system. ठीक है, नर्वस सिस्टम जो है ये दो पार्ट्स में डिवाइडेड है, विच इज द सेंट्रल नर्वस सिस्टम एंड द पेरिफेरल नर्वस सिस्टम. जो सेंट्रल नर्वस सिस्टम है, इट कंसिस्ट ऑफ ब्रेन एंड द स्पाइनल कॉर्ड, and the peripheral nervous system consists of somatic nervous system and the autonomic nervous system. Autonomic nervous system is further subdivided into sympathetic division and parasympathetic division, and these two means autonomic nervous system and brain work together to manage the endocrine system. Okay, there are particularly two parts of nervous system as we had just seen: central nervous system and peripheral nervous system. Today we will discuss particularly about the central nervous system. Okay, central nervous system, you all know, it consists of the brain and the spinal cord. The central nervous system is the center of all neural activities, and neural activities take place through communication between the neurons, okay, through the process of synapse. So it is the center of all neural activities, as it integrates all the incoming sensory information, performs all kinds of cognitive activities, and also issues motor commands to the muscles and glands. ठीक है, सेंसरी इंफॉर्मेशन क्या होता है? इनकमिंग सेंसरी इंफॉर्मेशन, वो इंफॉर्मेशन जो सेंस ऑर्गन से ब्रेन की तरफ जाता है, दिस इज नोन एज द सेंसरी इंफॉर्मेशन. एंड मोटर कमांड्स क्या होते हैं? जो ब्रेन या सेंट्रल नर्वस सिस्टम से आउटर ऑर्गन्स, सेंस ऑर्गन्स तक जाता है. ठीक है, सेंसरी इंफॉर्मेशन मींस outer organs या sense organs to brain and spinal cord, and motor commands या motor responses or motor impulses means brain and central nervous system to the outer organs. Okay, so central nervous system particularly comprises of two main parts, that is the brain and the spinal cord. Brain is believed, it is believed that brain has evolved over millions of years. Okay, from our ancestors, a number of changes that has taken place because of evolution, because of the process of evolution. Evolution refers to the gradual and orderly biological change that results in a species from their pre-existing forms in response to the changing adaptational demands of their environment. Physiological as well as behavioral changes are noticed in due course of the evolutionary process. Evolution is relatively a slow process and is visible after hundreds of generations. So it is through natural selection actually. So a lot of evolution, a lot of changes has taken place in human beings, in Homo sapiens, from our ancestors. However, the limbic system, the brainstem, and the cerebellum are the oldest structures, okay, which is even present today in human brain. While the cerebral cortex or cerebrum is the latest development in the course of evolution. An adult's brain weighs about 1.36 kg and contains around 100 billion neurons, okay, or nerve cells. So the oldest structures are limbic system, brainstem, and cerebellum, and the latest development has taken place in due course of evolution is in the cerebrum or cerebral cortex. See, now we will discuss about human brain. This is a diagram of a human brain. It is a well labeled diagram. You can see it's from your textbook only. Please practice this diagram because question can come related to structure of brain and functions of various structures of brain. So you have to draw a well labeled diagram of it. So please practice this diagram. All right. Parts of the brain consist of forebrain, hindbrain, midbrain. We can say the brain is divided into three main parts. For convenience, physiologists have classified it into three main parts, that is the forebrain, the midbrain, and the hindbrain. Forebrain consists of these parts: namely hypothalamus, thalamus, limbic system, and the cerebrum or cerebral cortex. The midbrain particularly the midbrain particularly consists of reticular activating system, which is abbreviated as RAS. Okay, you can see this from this diagram. Thalamus, hypothalamus, okay, cerebrum or cerebral cortex. These are the portion of the forebrain. All right. The midbrain particularly consists of which portion? It consists of the reticular activating system, RAS. Alright, and forebrain consists of thalamus, hypothalamus, the cerebrum, and limbic system. The hindbrain consists of the medulla oblongata, pons, and cerebellum. See, the medulla oblongata, you can see this, the pons, and the cerebellum. All right, so these are the distinct portions, these are the distinct structures in the human brain. Okay, forebrain consists of hypothalamus, thalamus, limbic system, and cerebrum या cerebral cortex. Midbrain particularly consists of reticular activating system, and hindbrain consists of medulla oblongata, pons, and cerebellum. Let's discuss about the structures of forebrain. So, it consists of hypothalamus. The functions of hypothalamus are: it regulates the physiological processes which is involved in emotional and motivational behavior such as eating, drinking, sleeping, temperature regulation, and sexual arousal. Hypothalamus also regulates and controls the internal environment of the body जैसे कि heart rate, blood pressure, temperature, and also regulates the secretion of hormones from various endocrine glands. The pituitary gland you can see in this diagram. See, this is the pituitary gland. Okay, and here is the hypothalamus. The pituitary gland and the hypothalamus are connected to each other. It is seen that the anterior pituitary is directly connected with the hypothalamus, and pituitary gland is known as the master gland. Because it is related, it is linked with hypothalamus, it can be said that pituitary gland along with hypothalamus regulate the secretion of hormones from various endocrine glands. Okay, we will study about the regulation of the secretion of the other endocrine glands from the pituitary gland in the portion when we will study about the functions of endocrine glands. Now we will discuss about the function of thalamus. Thalamus is known as a relay station that receives all the incoming sensory signals from the sense organs and send them to the appropriate parts of the cerebral cortex for processing. It also receives all the outgoing motor signals as well coming from the cortex and sends it, again relays it to appropriate parts of the body. The limbic system consists of two other parts. Okay, it consists of two other parts, that is the hippocampus and amygdala. लिम्बिक सिस्टम का मेन जो फंक्शन है दैट इज particularly it helps to maintain the internal homeostasis, balanced state, by regulating body temperature, blood pressure, and blood sugar level. जो other two parts हैं, that is the hippocampus, is working in maintaining the long term memory, and amygdala is playing an important role in emotional behavior. Now we will discuss about cerebrum. Cerebrum is also known as cerebral cortex. Okay, it occupies the maximum portion of the brain, you can say. Two-thirds of the portion of the brain is made of cerebrum only. So, cerebrum regulates all higher level cognitive functions such as attention, perception, learning, memory, language behavior, reasoning, as well as problem solving. All these are regulated, maintained, and carried out by the cerebrum. Cerebrum is divided into two symmetrical halves. Okay, symmetrical halves में ये divided है. It is known as the right hemisphere and the left hemisphere. These two hemispheres are connected by corpus callosum. ठीक है, ये corpus callosum से connected है. Corpus callosum क्या है? Corpus callosum is a white bundle of myelinated fibers which connects the two cerebral hemispheres that carries messages back and forth between the hemispheres. यानी कि दोनों हेमिस्फेयर लेफ्ट हेमिस्फेयर एंड राइट हेमिस्फेयर के बीच में जो इंटरैक्शन जो मैसेजेस टू एंड फोर्थ मूव करता है दैट इज बिकॉज ऑफ द कॉर्पस कैलोसम. ठीक है, cerebral cortex has been divided into four lobes. They are named as frontal lobe, parietal lobe, temporal lobe and occipital lobe. See, these are the four lobes of cerebrum: frontal lobe, parietal lobe, temporal lobe and occipital lobe. This is the cerebellum and this becomes the medulla oblongata. Okay, now let's discuss about the functions of these four lobes of cerebrum. The frontal lobe is particularly concerned with the cognitive activities such as attention, thinking, memory, learning and reasoning. It also exerts certain inhibitory effects on autonomic nervous system and emotional responses. Okay, parietal lobe is particularly concerned with the cutaneous sensations, cutaneous yani ki related to skin, and also plays an important role in coordination with the visual and auditory sensations. So, parietal lobe is concerned with cutaneous sensations and their coordination with visual and auditory sensation. Temporal lobe is concerned with the processing of auditory information, यानी कि सुनने से related, कानों से related जो information है, जो भी sensations हैं, related to the auditory functions. Temporal lobe is responsible for that. So it is concerned with processing the auditory information. Memory for symbolic sounds and words as well as understanding of speech and written language all is regulated by processed by the temporal lobe. Next is the occipital lobe. Occipital lobe यानी कि ये जो पीछे का हिस्सा है. Okay, this is the temporal lobe, this is the parietal and this is the frontal lobe. So occipital lobe जो है, this is particularly related to perception and interpretation of the visual impulses. It is also involved in memory of visual stimuli, color visual orientation, as well as other information which are related to vision. Okay, are processed by the occipital lobe. So perception and interpretation of visual impulses, memory of visual stimuli and color visual orientation is performed by the occipital lobe. Okay, so these are the functions, different functions of the four lobes of cerebrum. Now we will discuss about the midbrain and the hindbrain. You can clearly see this is the corpus callosum. ये जो आपको हिस्सा दिख रहा है ये है corpus callosum जो कि लेफ्ट हेमिस्फेयर एंड राइट हेमिस्फेयर ऑफ सेरिब्रम को के बीच में कम्युनिकेशन करता है. ठीक है, दिस इज द कॉर्टेक्स, दिस इज द सेरिब्रल कॉर्टेक्स. कॉर्टेक्स शब्द का मतलब होता है छाल. ओके, दिस इज द सेरिब्रल कॉर्टेक्स, दिस इज द मिड ब्रेन and this is the portion of the hind brain, that is the pons, cerebellum, medulla. Okay, and spinal cord continues from the medulla oblongata till the tailbone. Midbrain particularly consists of the reticular activating system. You can see this, the visual impulses. Midbrain is an important part of the human brain, which particularly consists of the most important structure, that is known as reticular activating system, abbreviated as RAS. The midbrain is relatively small in size and it connects the forebrain and the hindbrain. ये देखिए, forebrain and hindbrain को connect करते हैं. The reticular activating system is responsible for our arousal. It makes us alert and active by regulating sensory inputs and also helps us in selecting the stimulus, which stimulus to attend to, which stimulus to be to which stimulus we have to be alert to is regulated by reticular activating system because it helps us in selecting the stimulus from our environment. All right, so from here you can see there are certain projections towards the cerebral cortex. Auditory impulses, visual impulses, all are, in a way, we are made alert by the reticular activating system. A few neural systems related to some special reflexes and visual and auditory sensations are found here. It can be seen clearly. Okay, from visual impulses, also auditory sensations, auditory impulses are here given. So there are various sensations. There are certain special reflexes which are related to auditory and visual sensations. The structures of it are found in the RAS, that is the reticular activating system, which is located in the midbrain. Now let's discuss about the hindbrain. The structures of hindbrain include medulla oblongata, pons, and cerebellum. Medulla oblongata is the lowest part of the brain. See, this is the lowest part of the brain. Okay, it regulates the life supporting activities like breathing, heart rate, and blood pressure, and some of the autonomic activities, because rapid heart rate, breathing, blood pressure are related to the autonomic nervous system that we will study when we will discuss about the other portions, that is the peripheral nervous system. So, medulla oblongata is also known as the vital center in the brain. It is also known as the vital center of the brain. So question can come saying which of the following portions are known as the vital center of the brain. Options may be given which may include medulla oblongata. So answer should be medulla oblongata. All right. Next important part of the hindbrain is pons. Pons particularly receives the auditory signals relayed by the ears. It involves in it is involved in sleep mechanism which is characterized by dreaming. तो sleep mechanisms में pons involved होता है, particularly that sleep which is characterized by dreaming. It also contains nuclei affecting the respiratory movement as well as facial expressions. So all these activities are regulated by pons. Cerebellum, which is also one of the oldest parts of human brain, it controls the body posture and equilibrium of the body. It coordinates the muscle movements by receiving the motor commands originating from the forebrain and relay them to the muscles. It also retains the memory related to movement patterns. Cerebellum में हम किस तरह से चलें, कैसे किस तरह से बैठना है, कैसे खड़े होना है, इन सब चीज़ों की memory is maintained by cerebellum. So it retains the memory of the movement patterns. Okay. Now we will discuss about the other part of the central nervous system, that is the spinal cord. You can see the spinal cord is divided into these sections: the cervical, the thoracic, lumbar, sacral, and coccygeal. And related functions are given. You can see cervical portion is related to neck muscles, diaphragm, deltoid means shoulder, wrist, triceps and fingers. Thoracic portion is related to hand, intercostals, that's the trunk, abdominal and ejaculation. Lumbar, often people call it as lumbar, is related to functions in hip, quadriceps, hamstrings, that is the knees, and foot. Sacral is related to penile erection and bowel movements and bladder, and coccygeal towards the tail portion. The spinal cord is the rope-like collection of nerve fibers which run along the full length inside the spine. You can see this is like a rope-like structure. It is a continuous structure which is moving throughout the spine. The nerves, you can see these root-like structures which are coming out, which are emanating from this portion, are known as the association neurons. Okay, its one end, the spinal cord, is connected with the medulla oblongata. You can see this portion of the brain is the medulla oblongata. It continues with the spinal cord at the end, at one end, and on the other end it is free at the tailbone. This, it is free at the tailbone. The structure all its length is similar. The butterfly shaped mass of gray matter present in the center of the spinal cord contains the association neurons and other cells. In spinal cord, it is worth remembering, students, that the gray matter is surrounded by the white matter. It's exactly the opposite in the brain, where the white matter is surrounded by the gray matter. So it is composed of the ascending and descending neural tracts that connect the brain with the rest of the body. The main functions of the spinal cord includes certain functions like it carries the sensory impulses coming from the lower part of the body to the brain, यानी कि हमारे बॉडी के निचले पोर्शन से जो सेंसरी इम्पल्सेस आते हैं, लेग पोर्शन, फीट पोर्शन, पैर की उंगलियां, यहाँ से जो सेंसेशन आती हैं, ये स्पाइनल कॉर्ड ब्रेन तक पहुंचाता है. यानी कि स्पाइनल कॉर्ड का मेन फंक्शन क्या है? लोअर पोर्शन ऑफ द बॉडी से ब्रेन को कनेक्ट करना. So it carries sensory impulses from the lower parts of the body to the brain, and motor impulses originating in the brain has to be conveyed by the spinal cord to the other parts of the body. Spinal cord also performs simple reflexes that do not involve the brain. Simple reflexes involve sensory nerve, the motor nerves, as well as association neurons of the gray matter from the spinal cord. Okay, so these are the main functions of the spinal cord. We were talking about the reflex actions. What is reflex action? Let's see. Reflex action is an involuntary action that occurs very quickly after its specific kind of stimulation. जैसे कि अगर suddenly किसी गर्म चीज को हम छू लेते हैं तो बिना हम सोचते नहीं है कि हाँ ये गर्म है, अच्छा ये लगेगा इसलिए इससे हाथ हटा लेना, इतना टाइम नहीं है, हम छूते ही मान इमीडिएटली हाथ हटा लेते हैं, वो बस हो जाता है. ये जो बस हो जाता है involuntarily, this is known as the reflex action. The reflex action takes place automatically without any conscious decision of the brain. Okay, reflex actions are inherited in our nervous system through evolutionary processes. जैसे कि फॉर एग्जाम्पल, वन एग्जाम्पल ऑफ रिफ्लेक्स एक्शन इज आई ब्लिंकिंग. हम आईज ब्लिंक करते समय सोचते नहीं है कि हाँ अब हम ब्लिंक करेंगे. It is just happening. It is an involuntary action which we have inherited. Most of the reflex actions are carried out by the spinal cord and do not involve the brain. In the next video, we will discuss about the peripheral nervous system. Alright, where you will get much of the answers to your questions, means which portion of the reflex action is linked with brain and which are linked with the spinal cord. Okay, thank you all and stay safe.